Hello, everyone. Happy OPEX Friday. Say it with me. One of the least favorite trading days of the year. 12. At least it's not the quarterly one. How is everyone doing? Happy Friday to everyone. Good morning, Mark. You have a spike on your VIX futures on 4-hour time frame, okay? Te- Earnings for everything's all jumbled up, so I'm just going through it in my order. Yeah, that's from the other day. TSMB. Good morning, PTP. BlackRock was the other day. Good morning, Patrick. Let's see. This is from this morning. State Street was a beat down 2.42. There's Sterling's good morning. PNC beat stock up 3.47. JB Hunt was down 3.58. Good morning, Yogi. TGIF, holy. Good morning, Heinrich. I did not see that. Qualcomm announces quarterly cash dividend of 89 cents per share. Thank you for putting that in, Sterling. Good morning, OD Green. What are they now trying to walk this back? Expect nothing to see on Fed, so now they're trying to walk it back, huh? Good morning, Balaji. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Ted. Oh boy, I'm glad it's Friday. Hassett will be going to Davos with Trump. So who's going to get the Fed nomination? Which Kevin's going to get it? Is it going to be Hassett? What else do we have going on? Good morning, Zello. All right. That's about it. I'm very tired today. I am very tired, but it's still a Friday. We still got to get through it. Super busy day for me. What do we got going on besides OPEX? Hi, Ted. Mike here. Well, hi, Mike. Ted here. Oh, we don't have much going on today. We don't really. We have Colin speaking, Bowman speaking, but who really cares? It's priced in that there's a pause the next meeting. We got the rig counts. We got Jefferson speaking. They're not going to move a bunch. It's going to all be geared by uh, OPEX. That hasn't changed much. Oh, by the way, Rusty, people on Rumble, could you hit the like button every day for me on Rumble when you log in over there, please? Could you do that for me? Yeah, of course they do. They get an extension full self driving traffic file. Of course they do, because I'm not going to say it about the NTSA. All right, hello, Charles. So, not much going on today. It's all OPEX. We got still the rotation into now. It looks like the semiconductor equipment and materials have been running recently. Still, the semiconductors have picked up. Mag 7's still bouncing back, except for Apple. Oh, you got some specialty industrial machinery going. We got the regional bank PNC. There's your PNC on their beat today. Groups, technology, industrials, comm services leading. Basic materials was you got silver and gold pulling back. Silver more down about, what was it, 4% earlier. Utilities also. Fed watch 95% for the pause in 12 days. Fear and greed in greed mode. Are we going to get to extreme greed again? What else? Schiller PE 4083. Not yet over 41 again. Sterling put in, thank you for putting in the earnings. Then those are done and dusted. All right. Just remind me, Royal Palms. So we do have a potential double top with it spiking above the 75% harmonic yesterday. And by it's reversing this whole move, not this little move, it's reversing the whole move here. If it were, I'm not expecting this to trigger today unless something comes out of the blue. It would have to close below 7,250. Sorry, 69.23.25. And then the first target is virtually your 50 EMA. What am I looking for today, though? My support level, I'm looking at 6980. My resistance level, I'm looking at 7,010. Break above 7,010, I'm looking closer to 7,022. Below 68.90. That's where it gets interesting. There's some minor support about 69.70 and then majors right down around 69.52, 69.50. Again, not going to be doing much today in terms of that because of its OPEX Friday. NASDAQ, there is no double in here. NASDAQ, major support level I'm looking at is 25.7. Major resistance is 25.9. That just happens to be where it is now because it's a round number. There's a minor support level right around 25.775. Other than that, if it did break 25, if we had something more significant come out below 25.701, 25.580, and above the 25.9, 25.967 is my target if it runs higher. Just be careful on OPEX Friday. We've had some interesting runs. Had a little run up. Dow now in consolidation. Resistance coming in just shy of this 49.8. And support I'm looking at, we have minor support around 49.585. Any dip into the rotation zone on the 4 hour, I'm going to keep an eye on. So I'm going to keep 49.530. Russell went higher again. Russell just keeps grinding higher. We have a very lopsided double pattern here. Very lopsided double on a 4 hour basis. I'm just looking at, would not be shorting this, but if we do break below 2687, I'm looking for something closer to 2677 and then the bottom of the 4 hour rotation zone coming in about 2670. By the way, you can see the other prior double is well off the table. Just left that in for point of continuity. Oh, good morning, Jake. So, I'm just going to zip through this pretty quick today. VIX. I mean, is this a 4 hour spike? It's minor. Really, not much going on in terms of VIX right now. Still going to be looking at it more starting Monday. Not doing anything volatility wise today, unless something comes out of the blue. DAX, still we got the channeling pullback that I'm keeping an eye on. Still looking for one more rotation back up potentially. Trying to hit the upper end of the boundaries. I needed to get through about 25.5 to really confirm. Other than that, the support level is around the 8 EMA, bottom of the channel, 25.3. Yields still caught in the range. Today's the yield. Yeah, yesterday it bounced back a bit. Today's the yield rising day, but still in the channel. 30-year. This is a percent beat buy. Looks like it's going to trigger today, but again, this longer term trend is still up after the yield pullback there. Not much to do. Crude trying to find some support at the 50 EMA, which was resistance before. Going to be looking at this starting next week again. There's no strong pattern just yet. Just broke out from a little sideways base. Unless we start moving with momentum above 60.15, then I'll sit up and take notice. Other than that, we'll be watching next week closer to this 58.30 to 58.50. Natty Gas closing in on the 87.5 and the gap fill from all the way back in October. So this is where I'm going to start looking at Natty Gas again in this area from the long side. The short side's been just dry, grinding down. Now from the long side again, it could get interesting. Gold, there's a very strong support at this 45.82, 45.83 area. This is so far a sideways correction. On a break higher, remember, above 46.58 takes the potential double. This is very lopsided now off the table, but then 47 to 47.16 is the next target area. Silver, still wide range bar yesterday, very volatile because it's a speculative market, just with people rushing in. Boy, there's going to be so many people trapped in this. It's going to be funny. But the only thing for the breakdown play is got to give up below 80, 85.50. Good morning, Mark. Copper still back to bottom of the rotation zone, still has a potential double in play. Going to be looking now to see if we set up another rotation bounce come Monday. Oh, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Monday is Martin Luther King Day. Now, stocks are completely closed. Stocks are completely closed. Futures, like equities, have limited trading hours. All right, they close early. I'm not doing it. So I'm really, when I'm talking Monday, I'm watching Sunday night and then Tuesday. There will be no live stream on Monday unless something shocking happens this weekend that we need to look at the limited hour trading market. All right. I'll get to these requests in a bit. That's what I'm zipping through there. Again, second target hit on here. Support still was tested earlier, 98.50. If we do pull below that, I'm watching the rotation zone for the next support area. The top comes in at 98.70. Bottom comes in with the hooking up 50 at 98.50. Would not be surprised. It's sort of grinding down. Euro's hit all its targets. Come on. Euro, remember, hit all the targets on the prior double top. And closing in on that 52 and 62 and a half level, you see right here by the 200. Would not be surprised to see a bounce setup, especially going into early next week into the daily rotation zone. There could be a percent B buy setup for Sunday night. What else? Yields still elevated on the yen. At some point, this is going to really kick in with the yen. But nothing yet. Looking for a pullback flag after yen ticking off the 87.5. Still going to be looking for potential rotation back up patiently. Bitcoin, not much has changed. Still major support back at 93,800. Not much change there. Let's just take a look. Spiders and the Qs. Spiders, little gap up today, 692.24 to the gap fill, and then my targets, if we did sell off more, 691 and then 690.36. To the upside on any rally, paying attention to 694.57, and then major resistance around yesterday's high, the reversal open here. That's the key area. I'm looking 695.50. The Qs, we have a slight gap up. So anything today would be for the gap fill to 621.20, whoa, 621.78. To the upside, keeping an eye on 626.60, and then looking closer to 628 as major resistance. Now let's get to some of these requests. Well, I got to get to them in order. All right. ONDS. ONDS. Lots of topping pressure there, right there. Let me make this the forward harmonic and just see where it top. Yeah, there we can't even get a good pausing bar. Never mind. Can't even get a good pausing bar. I'd just be looking as long as it does not. That's a pretty key area. We looked at this one before. That's the key area we highlighted before. And it spiked through it a couple times. Spike through it with all that selling pressure. I'd be looking for pullbacks into the rotation zone. Let's see what's key. About $12, worst case, about 11.50. You start closing below 11.50, I'd be a little cautious on a pullback. I'd wait for some kind of a buy setup, but that's what I'd be looking for here. It is very overextended from the weekly. That's why if it starts really dropping, you could easily see the bigger pullback into the weekly rotation zone, especially with a major divergence up here. So if you're trying to be aggressive, I'd be looking around 12. If you're going to be safe, then I would, if it closes below 11.50, I would personally not be aggressive on this and wait for the bigger pullback. But again, I can't give trading advice because I don't know your positions. I don't know your account. I don't know anything. You know the disclaimers. And I don't have a position in that. Uh, Amazon. Huh. Technically, let's see. Technically, if we close above yesterday's high, it's a percent beat buy and a rotation zone buy. If it breaks above yesterday's high, it's got to follow through with the close. So that's the against, and there's a support level right here. You see with that black line. So I'd be looking at that area for a rotation zone potential buy with the stop for me would be below 236.22. Because if it loses this level, it also loses the support zone, and it could easily travel back down to 233 area, if not farther. But there is a potential short-term buy setup here using the things I utilize. So that's that again. If it does not hold the rotation zone, I would be patient because it also lost key support. Check what's going on with FISV. FISV? Not much is going on with FIS. There's not a strong bottoming pattern here. Jeez. Not a strong bottoming pattern here. It's just a channeling bounce into the weekly rotation zone. This really would have to get above about 71 for the move in there. And then you got the target being 74, but I'd be looking for a stronger bottoming pattern. This is so far just a channeling bounce. This is not a strong pattern just yet. All right. I mean, and you already look at this. Here's another gotcha. Still, you've broken a really strong support zone. So this would have to do some pretty heavy lifting for me to be interested from the bull side at all. At all. Without a pattern. Okay? So that's what that looks like. It's getting cheaper based on PDE, but the last thing was a earnings miss and a pretty big revenue miss. When's the next earnings? So, you know, this would only be something scalpy I'd be looking at if it could break above about $70, and that would be scalpy to the upside. AMD. Insider buying made the stock tank. How would insider buying make the stock tank? It's tanking for other reasons, not insider buying. Unless you're talking about insider selling. AMD. AMD has chart looks interesting. May put in a weekly bullish engulfing candle after trading range bound on the daily since late November. Let's take a look. It may put in an engulf. It really needs to close above this. That is a wide range bar. I wish there was a better pattern here. For me, I'd be looking for the probability shift and then a pullback still. I'd be needing to close above 239.78, roughly 240. Because we got a pretty decent channel here. This has got to tip the probabilities, especially with a PE ratio of 110. Trailing, I should say, trailing PE. But since this could not close above this upper channel yet, I'd really want it to close above that upper channel and above 239.78. Then I'd be looking for any pullback trades. So that's where that sits. Think they're getting sued because of misleading people, but I think people are starting to buy now. Yeah, you could still see another. It's got not a strong pattern though on a weekly basis. You had a bounce pattern, but not a strong pattern. I keep watching for a stronger pattern. In your experience, do overnight gains with gaps correcting in cash market hours tell you anything? In your experience, do overnight gains with gaps correcting in cash markets tell you anything? It really is situational. It's really situational. If you want to give me an example of what you're looking at, we can go through that. But why don't we do that next week? I got a super busy morning today. I've got to jump into the open. Uh, Remember MLK Day on Monday. No live stream unless there's a disaster. How will you know if there's a live stream? Well, if there's a disaster happens and something pops up in YouTube, there'll be a live stream. If not, there will not be a live stream. So that's what's going on. Then I'll see you all Tuesday, most likely. Hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We got some good football games on this weekend. Bears, Rams Sunday night. Then we got national championship game on Monday for college football. All right, and we got the Hawaii. The golf started up again in Hawaii. Yay for that! I shall talk to everyone later. Thank you all for tuning in. Bye for now.